There is a cardinal in your yard who has gone almost completely silent, and it has nothing to do with him leaving, getting sick, or losing his mate. If the bright red male who filled your yard with song every June morning has gone quiet by late August, you're seeing something that still puzzles people who study birds for a living. Subscribe now. The reason will surprise you, which means every note you heard this spring was pure chemistry, not decoration. And the silence now is chemistry too. From February through July, his song was fuel for one purpose only: claim ground, attract a mate, defend both. Rising daylight had pushed his testosterone steadily upward for months, and that hormone wired directly into the part of his brain responsible for producing song, keeping the circuitry active and primed all spring. You heard the results every morning without ever seeing what was actually driving it. The daylight hitting his eyes, the hormone rising in his blood, the neural circuit lighting up on schedule like clockwork. Now, with nesting duties finished and daylight already shrinking, that hormone has fallen sharply, and the song went with it, almost overnight by bird standards. It is the same bird and the same vocal cords, just without the signal telling him to use them the way he did every day since February. Here is where it gets strange. He is not mute. If you keep listening carefully through late August and into September, you will notice he has switched to something almost unrecognizable next to spring. A short, flat chip note, repeated but never built into a full phrase. Nothing like the rolling whistle that used to carry across 3 yards. Researchers who study cardinal vocal behavior describe this as an entirely different communication system, built for contact and alarm rather than advertisement. He uses it to stay in touch with his mate through dense August foliage, where visual contact is nearly impossible, to warn off intruders at close range when a full song would be overkill, and to alert fledglings still learning the rules of the yard to real danger. It is quieter and plainer than the performance you got used to all spring. And most people simply stop noticing him at all once it starts, assuming the loud, colorful bird from June has simply moved on somewhere else. Most people don't realize that silence carries more weight than it first appears to. A bird that spent 4 months singing to be heard from 3 properties away has, in effect, switched off the entire signaling system he relied on to be recognized and respected by every other cardinal nearby. If an unfamiliar male drifts into your yard's edge during this exact window, your cardinal has almost no way to broadcast a warning the way he could back in May, when a single burst of song from the treetop would have settled the matter before it started. His only real defenses now are these short-range chip calls and simple physical presence, and neither one carries anywhere near as far as the song did. He is, in effect, operating without the one tool that made him impossible to ignore for 4 straight months, which means late summer, in a strange way, is the most exposed stretch of his entire year, even though nothing about him looks wrong to you. Cornell Lab of Ornithology's long-term monitoring data shows this seasonal drop in song output as one of the most consistent patterns recorded in the species, tracked across decades of citizen-submitted observations from backyards almost exactly like yours. It is not random, and it is not illness. It is a hormonal switch, triggered by shortening days, that flips in almost every male cardinal across North America within roughly the same few weeks each year, regardless of latitude, habitat, or how many broods he raised that season. Watch any feeder for long enough in early September, and you will see it happening across an entire neighborhood at once, not just in your own yard. But researchers found that some males do not go quiet at all. In a documented subset of birds, a short, unexpected burst of full song reappears weeks or even months after territorial singing should have ended for the year, sometimes stretching all the way into October or November, long after every other cardinal in the area has settled into chip call silence. Ornithologists have a name for it: autumn song. What actually causes it is still genuinely unresolved, and the two leading explanations do not agree with each other at all. One theory, discussed in research, including work published in the Journal of Avian Biology, points to a secondary hormonal fluctuation, a small, temporary rise in testosterone triggered by new autumn competition over food, as birds that tolerated each other peacefully all summer suddenly start competing for the same feeders, and a shrinking natural food supply as the season turns. Under that theory, the song is not a leftover from spring at all. It is a brand new signal, smaller in scale than the spring version, triggered by an entirely different kind of conflict over an entirely different resource, which means there is a second, competing explanation that points somewhere else entirely. A competing theory treats it as something closer to rehearsal. Young males in particular, some researchers suggest, may be practicing and refining song structure months before it will actually matter, using the relative safety of the non-breeding season to work out phrasing and sequencing. They will need to perform under real competitive pressure the following February, when getting it wrong could cost them a territory entirely. Under this particular explanation, autumn song has almost nothing at all to do with territory in the present moment. It is preparation, happening in a bird that will not truly need the finished skill for another 5 months, long before the stakes of a real territorial dispute are anywhere close to real again, which means neither theory has been confirmed, and researchers studying the phenomenon have not ruled out that both mechanisms could be operating at once in different individuals for entirely different reasons that simply produce the same audible result. What is confirmed is that if you hear a full, complex cardinal song from your own yard in late October, you are not imagining a seasonal mistake or misremembering when spring ended. You are hearing one of the least understood vocal behaviors in a bird most people assume they already know everything about. Even Cornell's own researchers, with decades of citizen-submitted recordings to draw on, have not settled which explanation or which combination of the two actually accounts for what you would be hearing in that moment, and that gap in the science is exactly what makes late-year cardinal song worth paying attention to. Most people miss what that means for the next few weeks. They are actually a rare listening window for you, whether or not your particular cardinal turns out to be one of the ones who sings again. Most of the year, cardinal song tells you something fairly simple. A male has a territory and wants it known. But right now, in the gap between full song and true silence, every sound he makes is more specific than that. A chip note near the feeder is a location update meant for his mate. A chip note near a shrub is a warning about something you cannot see yet, worth stepping outside to check. And if, against the seasonal pattern, you catch even a few bars of real song drifting from the same treetop he used every morning in May, you are hearing a bird doing something researchers still cannot fully explain. Which means the next time your yard goes quiet, where a cardinal used to sing every morning, you should resist the urge to assume something is wrong. He has not left, and he has not lost his voice. His chemistry has simply moved into a different phase of the year, one built around contact and survival instead of performance and display. And somewhere in the weeks ahead, there is a real chance he breaks that silence anyway, for reasons no researcher has fully worked out yet. Which means the mystery in your own backyard is, in a very real sense, still open. If your own cardinal has gone quiet, drop the date in the comments below. Researchers studying this pattern rely partly on exactly that kind of everyday observation to figure out how consistent the timing really is across North America, one backyard at a time.